or so. There's a bit of lag my end by the looks of it on the camera, so I'm just going to make sure that everybody can see me and hear me, or us anyway.
Yep.
Signal looks great my end. You look really good. Just a little bit of lag on my side. That'll catch up though. So it is Friday. I cannot believe it's Friday, the 17th of April already.
Where's the year going?
It's just crazy. And I know it probably gets a bit boring everyone saying that, but it is true that the year just flies by.
Yeah, it certainly does.
It's really mental. But thank you so much for joining us today. This is our next instalment of Business Shoutouts. We have been using our Facebook page to give shout outs to local companies, and maybe not so much so local, companies across the county really, just during this time, because we know so many of the business sector have been affected by COVID-19. I really wanted to give a space to talk about those companies and give them some brand awareness basically during this time. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm calling it a show. Yeah,
it certainly is. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And Jack and I met last year, actually. We go to the same networking group together. Jack is an inspiring entrepreneur. Jack, tell us a little bit about you, your kind of journey, and tell us about Right at Home.
Yeah, of course. So I started this company in March 2019. Yep, last year. It's been a whirlwind of a year. I had quite a long journey to get to where I am when I chose to invest in this franchise brand. I looked at all sorts of industries, from food such as Subway, McDonald's, retail like CEX and reselling technology, right through to coffee and things like that. But finally decided that care was the industry and the opportunity that I wanted to go into for my future, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years down the line, because I could help people in two senses. One is to create quality jobs in care, and I'm passionate about that. But another one is ultimately to deliver quality care that I'd expect for myself one day, my loved ones, my friends, my family. So it was a kind of almost a no-brainer, and it was called recession proof. Within kind of the franchise model across different brands in the industry. And actually we've seen now that although it's a very hard time, which I'm sure we'll go on to later, there are strengths and there are weaknesses in the industry, but actually it is quite resilient to things like COVID-19 and financial strain within, funding, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, so as you kind of alluded to there, Right at Home is a franchise. It's a care company. Tell us about your ethos about delivering care, because as you said, you wanted to create quality jobs, but you're also really passionate about quality care that's delivered. So kind of tell us a little bit about your kind of ethos around the care sector and how you deliver care in the community and what the model looks like, really. So what kind of services you provide?
Yeah, of course. So like you said, it really is a quality focused model, quality jobs, but also quality care. Everything we do is centered around the person we're caring for, whether it's in that 45 minutes, that 1 hour, or that 9 hours overnight. It's around what they need, and it's really around what they need at that time. There's not a tick list of do these 5 things and you can leave the person. It's actually spending that 45 minutes, spending that 2 hours, making a difference in that 2-hour slot. And whether it's just to be there to listen to them for companionship and meal preparation, right through to being the person they rely on to get out of bed, to get washed, to keep their dignity and their independence as much as possible. So we go right from the early stages of the day, which is getting up, getting washed, getting dressed, doing it with our clients, not for them. That's one of our big focuses, helping them with their medication, getting their first meal of the day, getting things like glasses of water ready and snacks ready for those that can't sadly move out of a chair or a certain area. And then that next 4 hours before the next carer comes in, they're prepared and they're ready to enjoy that day as much as they can. And they then look forward to having that, either that same carer come back, which it usually is, or another carer they know, they've been introduced to, they trust. It's a friendly face coming in at that exact time. So they'll have fixed times, fixed carers coming in for that consistency. And that really builds into the quality focus. And all of our carers are passionate about delivering that quality care. We never operate a 15-minute visit. We never will. nothing less than 30 minutes. And if it is 30 minutes, it's for quite a quick lunch call, a bit of companionship and a bit of a check-in. If anything is, personal care related, it's always 45 minutes or more. And our preference is an hour, not just to do it well, but to give that person time to share concerns. If you rush in and rush out, they're going to think, I don't want to bother them with, my mental health uncertainties or my problems or my discomforts. And in that extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes, you get time to say, how can we make a difference to you more? And what can we do for you to set you up for that day as best as possible?
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a poignant point in terms of, keeping people, allowing people to live their lives at home and for them to feel like you care about them. And it isn't just a quickly run in, do this, do that. You are putting those people first, your clients, your customers first, and making sure they get some quality time with people.
Yeah, and one of our big things as well is we're kind of the family, and my family can't be there. And I've said that for almost a year now, within the company to all our carers, and they've believed it. I think now with COVID-19 and families can't be there, we literally are the only family they can see. Although there's no blood relation, we are there up to 5 times a day with certain people. We're the only people they see, for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We've had no family contact other than telephone and Skype. So we are the only people that have been there in their house to make sure they live well, they're happy physically and mentally, and they're comfortable. Some people can't get out of that chair for 4 hours, so we've got to make sure they're comfortable, they're happy, and they feel supported when sadly no one else can be there.
Yeah, and it brings on to our kind of next point, and a really good question is, how has your business, but also I guess the industry, been affected? I mean, there's obviously some obvious factors here, but how have you been impacted by COVID-19 over the last few weeks? And probably a bit longer than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been a very scary time, and we can't lie about that. Scary for carers, scary for clients, and scary for everyone involved, whether it is within management or whether you're there delivering that quality care every single day. It's a very scary time. We've taken on some more clients that we've been supporting on a shopping/companionship basis because their family can't be there due to them shielding or them being unable to travel maybe 2 or 3 hours like they normally would once a month to do a big shop for their family. So we have supported more people, and we still are supporting more people during this time. It has made recruitment a bit different in one sense. People want to help out a lot with volunteering and doing a little bit, but there are still very stringent rules we have to adhere to regarding training, choosing the right people, having people with good availability, as well as a really important part. As much as people want to help out, where they can, we've got a very strict guideline within the CQC we've got to still adhere to. So we've had hundreds, nearly, of applicants that want to do their little bit, which is brilliant.
Wow.
Unless you can drive, unless you have DBS check, and you go through our very strict training process, we can't send people out there to do their bit, which is tough when tens, hundreds of people want to help.
Or waiting, yeah.
Yeah, and they're there, they're not working, they're furloughed, they want to help, but we have to make sure that we're sending out trained, competent people for not only their own good, but for the brand and also for our clients. So there's kind of like a 3-way triangle there.
So what if we've had somebody comment actually just to say hello, Jason. Hi, Jace. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Jace. How you doing?
We're also going to put links to Right at Home's social media in the comments for you, as well as your website, so that people can follow you and support you, etc., if they want to get in touch with you as well. So if we've seen this kind of NHS drive to bring people back into the sector who are probably who might have been previously retired.
Yeah.
What if is that similar to the care sector? If somebody comes to you said that they've retired from care previously, they'd like to come back in, do they still need to go through a kind of a training program with you?
It really depends how long they've been out of the care sector for entirely. But if someone holds an MVQ level 3 or above, for example, they've done care within the last few years, ideally within the last year, that's really, really helpful. It means we can avoid and kind of shortcut a few things. There are still a good 1 or 2 days that need to be done, as well as shadowing, as well as being signed off as competent. But it does mean that there's less we've got to go through due to their experience and the fact they hold an MVQ, which is a valid qualification and is noticed by the CQC as a valid qualification. So it does reduce the amount of training, but it doesn't eradicate it completely.
Cool. I mean, it's great that you've been inundated by applications and people getting in touch to show their support. Are there any other ways, if that training is going to be a barrier, are there any other ways that people could be supporting your company, your business, or the care sector in general at the moment?
I think the easiest way to do it is obviously through social media. It's quite an easy one, which is to engage with our posts, share our posts, even tag people who maybe have worked in care before that personally, who maybe want to get back into it and are thinking, oh, do I want to go down the NHS route, or do I want to be a local carer in the community? Whether they choose to come to us or help another company or the NHS directly, that's brilliant for everyone involved. So engaging with social media, sharing our messages, tagging people to let them know we're here, we need people, and here's what we can do to help them, find an income if they've suddenly lost their job, or help people that can be in their same town or in their same county.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess there are some, government-wide guidelines that everybody can adhere to along the lines of stay at home if you are, if you do, even if you have elderly relatives as well, is to check in on them and make sure they're okay and they get that extra contact.
Yeah, I think checking in with family is really important. You may not be able to see parents, friends, family. People of all ages are being told to shield. They haven't got to be necessarily very old. They can be quite young and be told to shield for health reasons. So for our own mental health, spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes, call your loved ones. That will do a lot for people who sadly can't leave their house and they're stuck in those four walls and physically can't either get out the front door or aren't allowed to. So spend that 5 minutes a day, an hour a week, calling people that normally you'd be face to face with, but you can't due to this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah. And so in terms of your staff that you have currently, what sort of, I don't want to get too political because we have heard a lot of this on the news, and I tend to do that sometimes, but on the news today about PPE.
Yeah.
And are you, how are the staff not necessarily affected, but how are you finding that at the moment for your business?
We've had to be very proactive with our view. So we have a great support team within our national office. They provide all of our compliance support, marketing support, which is really, really helpful for us, here on the front line, so to speak. So it's been really helpful for them to tell us what we need ahead of the curve, so to speak. So we've had masks, we've had visors, gloves, aprons, you name it. We've got it in stock in our office, in our carers' cars, in their hands right now before it became a government guideline. So we've been quite, as a national 62 office, organisation, been very much ahead of the curve. We've now got enough stock for nearly 6 months. So hopefully this COVID-19 stops fairly soon, but we are prepared up until nearly end of the year now with our PPE. And our clients and caregivers get regular emails from myself and phone calls to let them know what the guidelines are, if they change, what that actually means. And I think that really, from feedback, helps to alleviate any uncertainty, any fear, because the clients are fed back to the care team on some instances to say, getting this email really helped put me at ease. Although it didn't completely eradicate fear, it has helped them to understand in a bite-sized, email what it means for us, really.
Absolutely. I've some really great points there. First of all, well done to Right at Home, and that's really reassuring to hear that you guys have got plenty of PPE stock for yourselves and your staff members and then the team and etc. So that's really great. And then also, you touched on a really good point there about communication. And really early on, probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I emailed out to business colleagues of mine to say that this is the time that you need to be communicating frequently, regularly, and openly and honestly. Your social content and general comms doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. There is some positivity to be had, and content as usual can continue going, but committing to a regular update via email, text, or social is super important to keep your customers informed, on board, and for your reputation.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're utilising not only the day-to-day WhatsApp group within our care team, but also weekly or even twice a week emails, as well as good old-fashioned telephone for those who don't want to use emails or can't use emails, so they don't get missed in that kind of communication. So we are there, every hour of the day for our care team, and we're always there for our clients if they have a concern or a question. And not a day goes past where they don't ring and say, "I've heard this from someone locally. What does it mean for me personally?" And the fact that they trust our own view and our voice and what we say, actually kind of shows that we are, trusted by not only caregivers but our clients completely.
Yeah, brilliant. And so obviously you've seen a change in terms of probably increased demand, or you're trying to keep your, where families can't come into your customers and clients, and you're having to step up into that role. Are there any other ways you've been impacted, or you've had to adjust your working pattern or standards, or not standards, sorry, your way of working, your routine at all?
Yeah, we've done a lot more daytime support for clients. Normally, the main core hours are the morning between 6:30 and 10:30, and then the evening 5 until 10 usually. But our core lunchtime hours are really, really increased just from doing a lot more shopping support, but also companionship. That's been a lot more demanded now because loved ones can't get here from other countries, or North Wales, for example, has got a few clients next of kins up there. It's hard for them to get down here. So we have done a lot more in the kind of core 10 till 2 hours for a lot of people in neighbouring towns in the area. But our core business around, washing assistance, medication hasn't changed. One of the bigger impacts has been medication. Pharmacies are, completely inundated with people wanting more medication, change medication. So they are really, really busy, which impacts us because things change from a dotted box system to individual packets, and we are trained and we can deal with it. It's just the communication can be really hard between, GPs, pharmacies, and ourselves, just due to things being so busy now. Wow. So it's great to see everyone really pulling together, but at the same time, communication is one of our biggest challenges between different organisations within the sector.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I mean, there's never ever a right answer to how that can be solved, and that kind of interagency piece has always presented some issues at times, but I guess everybody is really struggling to meet the demands of their kind of sector on itself, and then bringing in the other agencies into it. That there's going to be so much there to think about, isn't there?
Absolutely, yeah, and it's been really great to see lots of departments in hospitals, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, actually taking their kind of own time to call agencies like ourselves and say, can you help this person? It doesn't fall into their role necessarily, but they take the time to say, can you help this person 1 hour a day to do X, Y, and Z because, their son can't see them. And it's great to see people, taking their own time, their own lunch breaks, their own evenings, working weekends. I know the council locally are working 7 days a week now, from their invoicing teams, brokerage teams. Everyone is pulling through to really make sure that the people that need us, whether they are funded privately or by the council, are getting the care that they need and deserve, really.
Good, that's so good to hear. I'm glad to hear it. And it's so lovely to see you and to see that you're doing well and everything's okay. Yeah. We have sadly come to the end of our session. Time flies and all that.
It does, yeah, absolutely.
I know, it's mental, but I could talk to you all day, Jack. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to tell everybody what kind of areas you cover in Wiltshire as your kind of franchise? What's your patch?
Yeah, of course. So we are based in Bumpers Farm in Chippenham. That's our core area. We do cover right through to Malmesbury and Shurston, out as far as kind of Acton, Turville area and Badminton, and through across to Cairn, and now down to Melksham. And we are growing continuously as far down as Trowbridge and Bradford-on-Avon in the next 6 months. But right now we are actively supporting people in those kind of key 5 towns.
Cool. That's brilliant. And then finally, we've put the link to your website in the comments.
Oh, amazing.
People do want to reach out to you for if they want some care for their family members, if they want to volunteer or just kind of get in touch about work and jobs. Is there a contact form on the website? Should they email anyone in particular?
There is a contact form on the website for caring inquiries or care employment inquiries, but the best thing to do is just give us a call. The office is manned 9 to 5 core hours, and we have an out of hours phone that goes as well. We are doing weekly training, so if you're the right person, we believe that you're caring and reliable, we'll have weekly training sessions to get you on board, trained up, and out there helping our people.
Awesome, Jack. What's your phone number?
01249 569 569.
Lovely job. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Great to see you.
Have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, see you later, Nat. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.